into our fifth and final round. Tomorrow night, Carlos Condit is going to be taking on Demian Maia, and there's a couple other really interesting fights on that card as well. Me and Ted are going to talk about, such as Bec Rawlings versus Paige Van Zant. Who else is on that card, Ted?
Well, one that we were talking about that we're both excited about, Joe Lauzon versus Jim Miller. And Eddie, you reminded me that Pat Back is on.
Hey, Pat. Pat's back.
We got Pat is back. We got Jody and now Pat's there. Yeah. So and this is crazy because this is not our time for doing this, but yet we've got our friends on here. So this is awesome. We really appreciate it. So yeah, I didn't know this, Eddie. You reminded me that Lauzon and Miller fought at UFC 155 in 2012, and then I realized it just goes to show you that it just goes to show you how much time has passed and how many things have happened since that time. But I looked up a video I did back in 2012 where I called this the fight of the year. Lauzon versus Miller. The first time was fight of the year for me in 2012, and it happened at the end of the year. So I had all that time, all of those fights in 2012 to look back on, and yet I said Lauzon versus Miller #1 was the fight of the year, where Lauzon lost to Miller, or Miller won by unanimous decision. So now they get to go at it again at UFC on Fox 21.
And it's so crazy. When Ted just called me, I was like, didn't they fight? I feel like they fought before, and it was like an all-out war. And then it just clicked, and Ted was like, I think you're right. And because I was saying, this could be fight of the year, totally potential. And then it just clicked, like, oh, yeah, it's because I already saw these two fight, and it was already a fight of the year. So here we go. And Joe Lauzon, after knocking out the Nightmare, like, come on.
Yeah. And I watched a clip of that today.
The Diego Sanchez fight, in case you guys don't know who the
Right,
Nightmare
and
is.
he's Lauzon's bashing him, and then he's looking at the ref going, are you going to stop this or what?
Yeah.
Sanchez is such a warrior. He wasn't going down, but he was, essentially, out on his feet, or just that. I don't know if he was out on his feet, but he was taking an incredible amount of damage.
And we've never seen that happen before, the Diego.
Right, but he's been in a lot of wars. Look at the one between Sanchez and Melendez. I had that as whatever year that was fight of the year for me. Sanchez has just had an incredible career, but he's been in a lot of wars. But back to Lauzon versus Miller. These are two guys that I was looking at their records. Miller's most recent fight was a win over Takanori Gomi. Lauzon's most recent fight was the win over Sanchez. Lauzon also has a win over Gomi. But these guys have had some wins and losses. Before Miller's win over Gomi, he had 2 losses to Sanchez and Chisa.
Yeah.
So a win would be great for both of these guys, so that they're not put into that gatekeeper status. Because we're talking about 2 guys who have been around the UFC for a long time and have provided fans with a lot of great fights. What a treat it is that we're going to get to see Lauzon versus Miller 2, and we'll see if Lauzon can avenge the loss. And we're talking about 2 guys, Eddie, that are incredibly well-rounded. Whether we're talking striking or the ground game.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Joe Lauzon is always on the receiving end or the giving end of the highlight reel. He's had how many fight of the night bonuses? A lot. I know that.
He may have the record. It's like a dozen or something. Like that guy, it's just amazing.
Do you remember the season of The Ultimate Fighter that he was on?
God, it had to have been a long time ago because he's been around for a while.
I think it was the same season that Nick was on. Nate. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
If you guys remember in the chat room, definitely let us know that.
Yeah, so there's that fight, and then you mentioned Paige Van Zant versus Bec Rawlings. The return of Paige after her loss to Rose Namajunas, and following her, she got #2. She was the runner-up on Dancing with the Stars, but said she missed the violence.
Well,
so she's back.
Well, one thing I want to say about that, probably the only reason why she came in second place is because the front runner there was a deaf. The guy who got first place was deaf, and imagine how hard it's got to be to dance and not be able to hear the music. How do you not give that guy, first place?
I see what you're saying. I didn't see the show, so I don't know. But I mean, I mean that's an amazing feat in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And and Paige having that dancing background, the guy had to be good, to win. If he's going to win over somebody who already had that dance background. So, but yeah, Paige. When I look at this fight, I look at Beck, and full disclosure, I did a video when she was in that she was like in a G-string or whatever, and she had somebody take a shot from behind, and I said, well, that's not a really good thing to do because she has young kids, and what if kids make fun of her kids at school and whatever? Is that the best? I don't know. I was kind of having fun with the whole thing, but I'm like, maybe she shouldn't have done that. But as a fighter, she looks really fierce.
Oh,
She's a mean fighter, and you look at Paige and you go, oh, she's so squeaky clean and just seems like the girl next door kind of thing. But can she bring it in the cage against Beck Rawlings? That's I mean Paige is a gifted fighter too, but does she have that? And I'm not saying every fighter has to be mean, but does she have what it takes to beat a fighter like Beck that's just, I don't know, she's just got no quit in her.
Well, Beck was on that season Ultimate Fighter in 2014, and you know what?
Yeah.
I think this is a horrible match for Paige Van Zandt. I'm a huge Paige Van Zandt fan. I think that Beck is going to be the more fierce fighter, but if Paige can get her to go into the third round, I think Paige might have a little more cardio than her. But you know what? Beck is 7-4. She has 11 matches, 7 wins, 1 knockout, 4 wins by submission, 2 wins by decision. She's a young fighter too. She's my age, 27, but she's not even on the top 15 list yet.
And Paige only has 1 loss, right? She's what, 7-1 or 8-1?
She's 6-2 right now, and she's only 22. She's still really young.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love I love her tenacity and love her throws, her judo throws that she does. Mm-hmm. Those look great. So if she ties up with Beck, look for her to do that. Get her on the ground, and then because I think Beck has the advantage on the feet. Paige has the advantage on the ground. Beck it looks like has some tight striking, and Paige just loves to like bulldog you or trip you to the ground, mm-hmm. throw you to the ground, and then get the ground and pound and go for the sub. So it is definitely a clash of styles.
Well, yeah. 12 gauge. She's 6-2. She's only 22 years old. Ted, she's 5'4". She's tiny.
Yeah, so but it is the 115 division, right? So, mm-hmm. Well, how tall is Beck?
Let's check that out really quick. She is 5'6".
5'6", okay.
Mm-hmm. And
so
Paige,
more than like,
I'm sorry,
more than likely, yeah, Beck's gonna probably have a reach advantage, I would guess.
I think so. But Paige she has 4 fights in the UFC. She's only lost 1. Her first fight against Kaylin Curran. Second, Felice Herrig, she won. Third, Alex Chambers, she won that at UFC 191. And then she recently lost last December against Rose. And, a lot of people are watching that. Dana put a lot into Paige Van Zandt. Of course, she's training out of Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber. She's on the rise. She's she is the first strawweight to get a knockout in the UFC.
Oh, okay.
She has 1 knockout win, 2 wins by submission, and 3 wins by decision. She's just a very well-rounded fighter, but like you said, Ted, she's probably gonna have better luck on the ground with Beck. Yeah.
Yep. So, geez, I don't know. It's like whoever can work their game the best and the fastest. That's really what it is because they're just so strong in one style and maybe not so much in another. So, geez, it's kind of a coin flip here, I think. I don't know. How you leaning?
Well, I think in the first round, Beck might have an advantage. We might see Beck winning in that first round, putting a lot of pressure onto Paige. But Paige is a tough girl. I mean, she almost got submitted, 5 times in that last fight against Rose. I thought her arm was literally about to snap off.
Yeah.
She weathered it, man. So let's see how much pain she can take in that first round. If she gets out of there, I think Paige can maybe get the win. I don't know, though.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
I was, like I said, I'm leaning towards Beck to win it because I just think this is a bad matchup for Paige. But Paige can pull it off, and if she does, believe you me, it's a big win for her.
Believe you me.
Believe you me.
All right, well,
I don't know where I heard that. Do you know where that's from?
Oh, believe me, you.
Is that how it goes?
I don't. It could go either way. I don't know. It's like remember Arnold Schwarzenegger? Hear me now and believe me later.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, hear me now and believe me later. We gotta get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
But anyway, you know what? Yeah, you reminded me of how tough Paige was in that last fight, despite it being a loss. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Paige by unanimous decision.
I love it, Ted. Nice, man.
There you go.
All right, so the next fight, which is actually our co-main event, it's Anthony Showtime Pettis, who's been having a rough time lately, going up against Charles Oliveira. Pettis is ranked number 7th. He has an 18-5 record. Charles Oliveira is ranked number 6th with a 21-5 record.
Yeah, and this is actually a featherweight bout.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Pettis' first drop to 145 after those 3 losses at 155.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's probably going to be a good-sized 145er. Although Oliveira is not a small guy either. Oliveira's pretty tall and lanky as well. But yeah, it's kind of do or die for Anthony Pettis with 3 losses. I mean, a lot of fighters get cut after 3 losses in the UFC. I think they're giving him this, because he is the former champ, former WEC champ, former UFC champ,
and the first guy to ever make it on an ESPN clip when he got that knockout over Benson Henderson, and the first UFC fighter to be on a Wheaties box.
Okay, so a lot there, a lot of firsts. I mean, popular guy, a very exciting fighter. I mean, you got to be exciting if you're going to call yourself Showtime.
Yeah, yep.
So all of those things, he gets a 4th crack at a win.
Yeah.
So he has to win this fight. I think he has to. Or else Bellator might be calling, or he might be calling Bellator.
You never know. And that could be huge because that can make him the first person to ever be a 3 different division champ, or not 3 divisions, but 3 different huge MMA corporations. He would have WEC, UFC, and Bellator.
Right. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I mean, this matchup with Charles Oliveira, I mean, Oliveira is a guy who's coming off of a submission win over Miles Jury. Miles Jury was very highly regarded, and Oliveira came in and guillotined him. Although Oliveira does have, I was doing some research again, Oliveira does have losses to
Max Holloway.
When he gets to the bigger guys, when he gets to the veterans, the guys who have been around for a while, who are still in their prime, that's when he seems to lose. Cerrone, Swanson, Edgar, Holloway. Yeah. He's lost to all of those guys. Lost to those 4 guys. So here's another guy in Pettis who's, definitely at that level.
Oh yeah.
But that's just what's been in the past for Oliveira. Can he surmount that? Can he get beyond that? Can he beat somebody who's top caliber like Pettis? I mean, Pettis, and you're talking about 2 guys who are well-rounded. Again, well-rounded. I mean, Pettis has great striking, and he's great on the ground. Same thing with Oliveira. So, God, I mean, I don't know. I think, you know what? I think Pettis is going to pull it out this time. I think he's going to realize the gravity of the situation, and he's going to be able to, but he's not going to let it get to him, but he's going to be able to perform, and I think he's going to get the win. I think he's going to get the win over Oliveira. It's a 3-round fight, but I think he's going to get a TKO on him in the 3rd round.
Well, remember that fight with Max Holloway. The only reason why he lost that fight was he got injured. He in that first round, he grabbed his foot or something like that. He pulled a muscle. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember that happening, and unfortunately that got listed as a loss. But if not for that, he would be 21-4. Out of 26 matches, has 6 wins by knockout, 13 wins by submission, and 2 wins by decision. But you know what? As a submission artist, you're gonna have some trouble with Anthony Pettis, in my opinion.
Oh, we're talking about a guy who submitted Ben Henderson and also Gilbert Melendez. Both of those guys, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. So Pettis is very skilled on the ground.
And not to even mention, yeah, he is coming off of 3 losses, but to 3 amazing fighters. You're talking about RDA, who took his belt, then Eddie Alvarez, who took the belt from RDA, and then Edson Barboza, who's been on an absolute tear as well.
Right. So I don't know, man. What are you thinking?
Well, with 10 wins by knockout, 5 wins by submission, and 3 wins by decision, I think I'm going to go with Anthony Pettis to win by knockout in the second round by a spin kick, by some sort of kick. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sticking with mine, a third round TKO, but yeah, for some reason I'm envisioning, he's just, ground and pound. It goes to the ground, and then he's going to finish him with, the ref steps in, ref stoppage. But, yeah, we'll just have to see, man.
I mean, we realize we have seen a lot of people using the same game plans against Showtime, pushing up against the cage, really trying to, lock him in so he can't use that, the legs, and he needs space to create all that. So I hope that he can seal this win. So that gets us into our main event, Ted.
Yes, it does.
Demian Maia versus Carlos Condit. This is a big fight for both fighters. Demian Maia, 23-6, ranked number 3rd, going against Carlos Condit, who's ranked 4th, the natural born killer, 30-9 record.
Yeah, we're talking about 2 guys. Demian Maia is ranked number 3, Carlos Condit ranked number 4. So I think, whoever wins this one is going to be in a good position. We've got Woodley as the champ, Lawler's number 1, and Wonderboy Thompson's number 2. Dana White has basically said Wonderboy gets the next shot. So could we see the winner of Maia versus Condit maybe fight Lawler? And then whoever wins that gets the next shot? I mean, bottom line is whoever wins this is going to be in a very, very good position.
Yeah, this is a tough division.
Yeah. But whoever wins this is going to be a very good position to challenge for the title at some point. We could probably say next year at this point. Yeah, and, Demian Maia, I mean, the guy's been on a tear, and he's absolutely phenomenal on the ground. He's one of these guys where, you're going to have to stop him. He's going to work.
Nightmare.
He's a nightmare on the ground, and you just have to figure out a way to stop him. It's like... there was a guy named Antonio McKee. He was a very, very good wrestler. That was his thing. Wrestling was his thing. And people got upset because he kept winning by wrestling. And he's like, well, then stop me.
Yeah.
Stop me from my wrestling. I'm going to keep doing what I do because I'm very, very good at it. Mm-hmm. It's up to you to stop me. So it's up to people to stop Demian Maia from working his jiu-jitsu game. So it's up to Carlos Condit to do that.
I think he can, because Carlos Condit has really good, Carlos Condit, he could end up on the ground with Demian, but I think it's going to be harder for Demian to bring Carlos Condit to the ground than it was to bring Matt Brown to the ground. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Condit's more athletic, has a real good sense of movement.
Yes.
Connor talks about movement, and Condit is very good at movement, and I mean, he knows what Demian Maia is going to do. And Demian Maia makes no bones about it. He said the fight's going to the ground. And I'm sure Carlos knew long before that was going to be his game plan. So, that's what he needs to focus on.
And Ted, how long have we seen Demian Maia fighting and just being an absolute nightmare for all these fighters? For how long? Years, it feels like.
Right. I mean, and there's been losses sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
But as of late, I think he kind of feels. You remember how Bisping said, as he was, fighting to get to the title, this is my destiny. I think Demian Maia is feeling a bit of that, but I don't know that he's going to get one over on Carlos Condit. Carlos Condit is a very, and I say get one over because Carlos Condit is smart. He's a smart fighter. He has good fight IQ, as they say. He's not one that's going to make stupid decisions in the cage. He's not prone to that. So I think Carlos is going to, and don't, let's not forget, Greg Jackson is his trainer.
Exactly. Oh,
and
yeah.
that guy's smart. So they're going to come up with a good game plan.
Oh, yeah, and his endurance on top of it, especially. Yep. If Demian Maia tries to tangle him up and loses a lot of his energy doing that, because Carlos can easily break away from that. I just think Carlos has an advantage here. He has 39 matches with 15 wins by knockout, 13 wins by submission, 2 wins by decision. Great striking, submission, endurance. He's a nightmare himself, man. You know what I mean? And he's been doing this his whole life. You know what I mean? Just like Demian, and he's thirsty for it too. He was thinking about retiring. I'm so happy they announced this fight because everyone was worried about that. But the argument is, Carlos Condit looked better than ever in that fight with Robbie Lawler, and he was that close to beating him. You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we look at Demian Maia, who's 23-6, 3 wins by knockout, 11 wins by submission, 9 decision. Like me and you were just saying, he's been on absolute tear lately. But Condit is a tough fight for him. I think that it's going to be a 5-round fight, but I do see this one ending in maybe the 3rd or 4th. In regards of Carlos Condit winning.
Carlos Condit, yeah. And so Carlos by knockout.
Yeah, I don't see it by submission. I think that Demian Maia is too good to be able to get out of it. He's too smart for that. It's going to be a fight, Ted. I just don't see it going all 5 rounds for some reason.
No? Okay. I mean, geez. I mean, yeah, I don't know. This is a good one. This is a good. It's a tough one for me to pick. I mean, I'm leaning towards Carlos Condit. I mean, Maia, God, you know, if he gets you on the ground, it's going to be tough. I see Carlos struggling. You know, I mean, he's going to try to, you know, push the head down, get back, get his legs underneath him, and get back up. You know, he's gonna work to get back up. I'm going with unanimous decision for Condit.
Okay, I just see Condit, you know, bringing the pain just little by little, not too much powerful punches, just getting accurate shots and you know what I mean, and just slowly breaking Damian's body down, and to the point where he just can't handle that pain level, and Carlos catches him off guard with something, either an elbow, something. But you know. Yeah. He's unpredictable himself. Carlos Condit, you got to watch out for that guy.
Got a lot of weapons at his disposal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're saying unanimous decision, Ted?
I am, yeah. Oh, I just saw Minion weighing in on it. He says for him, it's only a matter of time before Maia gets his hands on Condit, and even if he can't submit him, he'll take the decision from controlling him for the majority of a fight.
I hope not. I see what he's saying though, because that's what we've been seeing.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, that's definitely, you know, yeah, that's definitely a possibility for sure.
Look what he did to Gunnar.
You know, yeah. What's that?
Remember his fight with Gunnar? I thought Gunnar was going to win that. He just wrapped Gunnar up and was doing what Gunnar would do to all of his opponents, which just whoosh, whoosh, just wrapped up, you know?
Oh, yeah. So I mean, you know, and Gunnar's regarded as a pretty good guy on the ground, but I mean, Maia was just on another level.
Yeah.
It's like going up against a guy like Anthony Johnson, where you know just one touch from this and you're done. So you know if it goes to the ground, pretty much it's a submission for Maia. If Anthony Johnson touches you on the chin, it's a knockout for him. So when somebody is just so, weren't we talking about this earlier? When somebody is just so heavy in
one area,
style. Yeah, and when they're heavy in one style, I mean, you just really have to watch out.
And you know what? Minion made a great point because we saw that with Eddie Alvarez trying to make his way to the title. He was using his strongest, you know, what really got him to the dance, you know what I mean, which was his wrestling. Tying these people up, he got a lot of criticism for it, but now he's the champion, and he not only is he champion, he became champion by knockout in the first round, you know?
Right. So that was unexpected.
Yeah, so maybe Damian's trying the same thing. Like, I'm just trying to do this one thing. I can't wait. That's going to be tomorrow night. It's going to be free.